What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel once again. Today I thought we'd do something that we haven't done in a while, which is a little Q&A. So I put something out on my Instagram and Twitter not too long ago, just saying to ask me any questions about anything, drums, YouTube, wrestling. Secret massive wrestling fan. Yes, I know you can judge me if you want to, it's fake. I know it's fake. But yeah, you guys have come back to me with some cool questions, so I thought I'd sit and answer those for you today. I'm going to do more of these, so if there's anything you'd like to know about me or drumming or any advice or anything at all, just stick it down below in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you. I do actually reply to 99.99% of comments that are left on the channel, so make sure to ask me something. And I'm going to get this out of the way at the start. Make sure to subscribe and like the video if you're not already. There's been a lot of traffic coming to the channel lately, so make sure to subscribe and stick around for loads of cool drumming content. Anyway, let's get started. So the first question comes from Daniel, which simply says, hey, how's it going? I'm doing okay given the circumstances with everything that's going on. I hope you're doing well too, and that goes for everybody. I hope you're staying safe and I hope everybody is okay. Third says, favourite hardware? Mine is definitely Tama. I use Tama Stage Master hi-hat stand and a Tama Iron Cobra double bass pedal. So Tama hardware is awesome. When I got my Tama kit recently, the guy chucked in a couple Tama cymbal stands as well, so a straight stand and a boom stand. And I've got to say they are absolutely awesome. I do use them, however my favourite hardware is DW hardware. Industry standard, you can't go wrong, it's super good. So for example, the 3000 hi-hat stand I really like. I've got the 5000 kick drum pedal. The list goes on. So DW is my favourite. So N Hawkins has asked me my favourite snare head and why. So this is a weird one to answer because not every snare head's going to sound the same on every snare. You've got a million different types of snare. You could have a wooden snare. Even then it could then be, is it maple? Is it birch? Is it a mixture? Is it a metal snare drum? So like, is it steel, brass, copper, copper over brass, steel over, you know what I mean? There's so many different factors. But for my snare drum, so my 13x7 pork pie zebra wood rosewood snare drum, I like to use one of the coated Power Stroke heads for it because it just suits that drum. It sounds really good. And when I don't use that, I use a coated Emperor. I always get Emperor and Ambassador the wrong way around. It's an Emperor. One of those two, you can't go wrong. Basically any coated Remo snare head would sound rad on any snare. That's my opinion. Next, we've got Tom Melton who says, what inspired you to become a drummer? So this is a long story short, I guess. Whenever I say that, my story ends up being long, but I'll try and keep this as condensed as possible. I've always been fascinated by music from a very young age. Some of my earliest memories are impersonating Michael Jackson in the playground of my primary school. But what made me really want to become a musician and a drummer was when I was quite young, my grandparents used to take me to a lot of gigs and I would constantly just be like staring at the drummers. My granddad noticed this and would often introduce me to the drummers at the end of the gigs, and I'd get talking to them and I became fascinated with the drums. Fast forward a few years into my teens, obsessed with bands like Blink and Green Day and all of the awesome bands out at the time, and those guys just made me want to be them and be a drummer. You know what it's like when you're young and you just want to be like someone else rather than be yourself. Anyway, that made me want to be a drummer and it just went from there. Although it's worth saying before that I had played other instruments but kind of just dabbled. It wasn't until I got a drum kit that I was like, right, this is what I need to do with my life. I have to be a drummer. And I think that all happened around about the age of 13. So around about the age of 13, I was like, the only thing I want to do with my life is play drums and just make it work that way. Here comes Dat Noah says, how do you stay motivated to practice for long periods of time? So I think the trouble with a lot of people is that they think you have to practice for like an hour. You have to sit there and do a paradiddle non-stop to a click for an hour. That's not going to help, right? So one thing that really helps is not knowing what to practice, it's knowing how to practice, okay? So simply, I break it down into two things. You should always incorporate stuff that you know and that you like to do, and then sandwich in between that the thing that is new to you and that you're learning. So let's say 15 minutes is the amount of time you have to practice on the average day or practice session. First 5 minutes, just jam, do something you love, just play around on the kit, play along to your favorite song. the next 5 minutes, let's say you're working on your double stroke rolls, okay, left hand lead or something, or 6 stroke rolls, inverted paradiddles, whatever it is. You then spend 5 minutes just solely doing that one thing. Get yourself to a point where you're like, right, I actually feel like I've progressed at that. Reward yourself with another 5 minutes of doing the thing that you love. That way you actually stay motivated, you still have fun, and the sort of the learning part of it is sort of surrounded by you just having a good time. So you don't associate the learning side of it with a chore. It becomes something that you look forward to doing. That's how I do it, and that's how I tell my students to do it. Doesn't mean it's the right way, doesn't mean it'll work for you, dude, but hopefully it does, so try that out. So next up, Ben asks, what was my favourite subject in school? Ooh, this is awkward. A lot of my students and a lot of you guys who watch this channel are still in school, so I don't want you to hear what I'm about to say and think that it's okay for you to copy exactly what I've done, okay? I do not want to be responsible for that. I wasn't the best student at school. It wasn't that I wasn't smart or wasn't capable. I just hated being at school for the entirety of being there, whether it was being bullied in primary school, not feeling like I fit in middle school, going through loads of family problems and stuff in high school, whatever it was. I just didn't like being there. The teachers, I think, could tell that was the case. My behaviour started slipping, and by year 11, by year 12, I'd been expelled from school. I actually got kicked out of school because of that. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to talk about, really, because I don't like. I know that, without sounding big-headed, a lot of people say on this channel that I inspire them and that they like to try and strive to do more like the things that I do, but if you're in school, please try hard and actually get through it. I know it's tough and everything, but I really do recommend that you actually give it a go. But when I was there, my favourite subject was probably science or music or drama. I really liked those subjects, but didn't finish school. So I did go on to do higher education. Ben actually asks a further question here. Did you do a music GCSE or BTEC? The answer is yes to both. Failed my GCSE because I didn't try. However, I then went on to college and did a professional diploma in music and got a distinction. Then went on to uni. No, sorry, I did a national diploma at college and got a distinction. Went to uni and did a professional diploma and also got a distinction. So I turned it around after being kicked out of school. I was like, look, I have to do music, I have to do something. So I bettered myself, retook a load of my GCSEs at college, like the important ones, English and maths, and got the equivalent of like A's and stuff. So yeah, weird question, but thanks for asking. Opened up there a little bit. Swain666, I know your real name's Ryan, so I'm going to call you Ryan. Ryan asks, how are you finding the mics that you got? So you guys probably saw in my last couple of videos, I've been using the SE VPAC drum microphones, which were sent to me by them, but I am by no means made to tell you that I have to say that like they are awesome. I don't have to do all that. In fact, I met with one of the representatives of the brand recently and we had lunch together, and he was like, look man, just be honest with people, tell them what you think. And I do honestly think that these are very good drum microphones, especially for their price, for what I use them for gigs, for YouTube videos. I am so happy with them. So Ryan asks, again, would you recommend them for the price? If you can afford to pay for these microphones, get them. I do recommend it. Lisovsb says, hi Rainer Vandel. Hi, sorry I can't pronounce your thing. Alfie Hughes says, if you were to learn another instrument, what would you choose? So I mentioned very briefly earlier on in the Q&A that drums wasn't the first instrument I learned. So when I was younger, my babysitter was also a piano tutor, so she taught me a little bit of piano. I loved it at the time, would play every day, but I haven't really played since, and I can't really remember anything. I know how to play a chord, but I cannot play piano. Also, I played bass guitar before drums. If you're a drummer, I highly recommend learning another instrument, especially bass, just to give you an idea of what it's like to be on the side of the band where they've got a pitched instrument and they're talking about keys. and notes and everything like that. Because us drummers, we talk about rhythm, we talk about timbre, feel, all this stuff, but some of you are probably in band practice, and when your bassist or guitarist says, why don't we try going to the minor here, or do a flat 6, or you know, some of this stuff, and you're like, what? Having an understanding of that will help you get in their head and help you know what they mean, and you can try and replicate that feel on drums. And I highly recommend, if you do choose a second instrument, do bass, because drums and bass go together and lock in, so it's good that you and the bass player could have a really tight understanding with each other. Alfie also asks, do I still have the snare from the Bad Snare Good-ish video, which is linked up here? I don't. I actually don't know where that is. I think I lost it. I've moved house twice since I made that video, and yeah, that's an old video. I kind of cringe when I watch it because it's so badly made, but it still gets views, so I'm not going to take it down. But great insight there. You've obviously been subscribed to the channel for a little while, so thanks so much for that, Alfie. Italian Plastic says, what is the best drum kit? Again, so many variable factors here. Depends what you need the kit for, depends who's playing the kit, what heads are on it, how it's tuned. I mean, a good drummer could make one of those like $50 Hello Kitty drum kits sound good. In fact, there's a really cool video of Benny Greb on YouTube playing, I think it's a SpongeBob SquarePants kit, a kid's drum kit. Sounds amazing. Then you could get someone who's never played drums before on a $4,000 custom USA custom Gretsch kit with the best cymbals in the world, and it could sound rubbish. So generally speaking, you get what you pay for with musical instruments. So if it costs more, usually it's because it sounds better, or it's been made better, but a lot of it comes down to the person playing it as well. So technique, feel, touch, all of that stuff. To pinpoint one drum kit, I don't think I could do that. Personally, I love my Tama drum kit, but I'd also happily have another Gretsch drum kit. I love Gretsch drums, Ludwig drum kits, DW, so many good brands out there. So if other drummers play one of these kits in a band that you like, it's probably a good drum kit. So next up, my homie Lewis says, are you going to release any drum covers on YouTube? Before I answer this question, I really want you guys to go over to Lewis's Instagram and check out his photography work, because it is so good. This guy's hella talented, all right? So it's going to be linked down below. I can't remember what his @ is, but it will come up on the video and it will be in the description. Make sure you go check him out. He's a rad photographer. But yes, Lewis, I am going to be doing way more drum covers this year. There's already a few on the channel that I've done previously. So for those of you who haven't seen them, again, linked up here for you, but there will be way more coming out very soon. In fact, if you want to see any specific songs covered, comment down below and I'll see if I can get around to them for you. Finally, the last question, which is the one I was a little bit anxious about answering, is from Kayleen Logan. Sorry if I'm saying these names wrong. Top 5 favourite drummers. Well, I'm gonna have to think about this, because this is going to change all the time. So something that's important when you're a musician, a drummer, whatever you are, painter, dancer, is to constantly educate yourself within your field, right? So I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to find out about new drummers, and my favorite drummers changes throughout the years. So when I was a kid, it would have been people like Travis Barker, Trey Cool, Atom Willard, Derek Grant. These are all the drummers from my favorite bands growing up. As I get older, I'm more inspired by educational drummers for different reasons. So people like Mike Johnston, Stephen Taylor, Cobus, Jared Falk, all of the like internet teacher drummers now are my biggest inspirations. So to give a top 5 would be impossible. I'm sorry, that's a cop-out, but just so I can answer your question and give you a top 5, currently what it would be Mike Johnston, Ringo Starr, Travis Barker, Simon Phillips, and 5. Who is number 5? Phil Collins. There we go. Love Phil Collins. Left-handed bald drummer just like me. I keep joking around lately that once I'm a little bit older I should start a Phil Collins tribute act. left-handed drum kit, get a Britney mic on the go. That would be amazing. I actually might do that one day, so keep a lookout for that. Well, there we go, everyone. Thanks so much for sending in your questions. I really appreciate it. If there's anything you'd like to know, and if you want me to do another Q&A like this, I might do a live stream for the next one, next week, potentially. Send in your questions ahead of time, or wait for the live stream and send them in to me, and I'll make sure to get around and answer as many as possible. @RainaVandel is my Twitter, Instagram, and pretty much everything, so it's easy to find me. I reply to everything because I have no life and I'm really lame, and now that I'm stuck indoors, I'm staring at my phone a lot. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, like the video for me, subscribe, comment down below, all the stuff that we constantly ask you to do that you're sick of hearing. Appreciate it. Hope you're all safe, hope you're all well, and as per usual, whatever you're doing today, stay in and smash it.